Author's POV. Baby, I'm outside, 9:46 p.m. Becky excitedly sprinted away out of the room as soon as she got the message from her lover. The smaller girl ran downstairs before quickly opened the front door just to meet with the sight of Freen. I miss you so much. Becky, immediately throwing herself into the taller girl's arm. She can feel Freen tighten the hug around her body. The taller girl still haven't uttered a single word, leaving Becky in confusion. Freen? Are you okay? Becky asked, whispering softly, still hugging each other because it seems like Freen didn't have any plan of pulling away. Can we talk? Outside? Freen asked, her voice slightly shaken, making the smaller girl worried. Freen, what's wrong? Stay for a while, Freen mumbled, pulling the girl even closer when Becky was about to pull away. A loud heartbeat could be heard pounding out of Freen's chest. Becky softly pulling away, gazing intently towards her lover. She can see the difference in Freen's eyes. Come with me. Becky slowly pulling the girl towards the garden on her mansion. The lover sat on the white wooden bench with the view of the beautiful flowers in front of him. The surrounding become quiet. Freen didn't utter a single word as she still having her head down. Becky, on the other hand, waiting patiently for the taller girl to open up about what's going on inside her mind. Becky. You can tell me anything, I'm all ears for you, Becky replied softly. Freen leaned her body on the bench, there's a little gap between them. Becky knew something definitely wrong right now when Freen started to letting out a deep sigh. My parents decided to go back together, Freen muttered, looking down on her hands. Oh my, really? 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖈𝖆, I'm so happy for you, Becky said, smiling widely as she immediately holding her lover's hand tightly. Freen didn't react, still keeping quiet, making the smaller girl confused with what's happening. Why do Freen look so sad with this happy news? Freen? What's wrong? Are you not happy with this? My parents knew about us. Becky, slightly taken aback, didn't expect that would come too. Her body started to feel nervous with the news, worried about the outcome, but Becky hid it nicely. And they give me a choices. Freen added, didn't have the courage to face Becky. What choices? If I want them to get back together, I need to break up with you. Freen finally said it, the grip on their intertwined fingers tightened. Her heart started to feel heavier, she didn't know how would Becky react to the news. A part of her wanted to burst out into tears, but she kept holding on, not wanting to worsen the problem while Becky still haven't uttered anything. It's okay, choose them. Freen quickly looked up and saw Becky looking at her, smiling softly. She couldn't believe what she just heard from Becky. Why? Becky, what are you saying? Choose them, Freen, never choose me over your family. Rebecca, are you aware of what you are saying right now? Freen started to lose control, her breathing become heavy. Becky, still having the same smile and looking at the taller girl, nodding her head softly. Freen shook her head repeatedly and stood up from the bench. Why would you give up so easily? I am willing to fight for us, Becky. Am I a joke to you? Is our whole fucking relationship a joke to you? Freen, I was there when you came to me, heartbroken in the middle of the night after knowing your family split away. I saw how devastated you were crying on my arms that night. Now they are giving you a chance to fix your family again, don't you want that? Then how about us? How about us, Becky? The promises, are you gonna let it go just like that? Freen asked, slightly raising her voice, showing how much it hurts her. Becky having her head down as she bravely looking up, her eyes slightly shaken, and nodded her head. That's the only way, for you and your family. Damn it, Becky. I want to fight for us. Why did you stop me from doing it? Why can't you just at least let me try? Freen said, frustration all over her face as she can feel her body shivering, trying to hold her emotion. I don't want you to choose me over your family, Freen, over your mom and your dad. You are their one and only daughter, their only hope, and I don't want to destroy it just because of my feelings. Please, never choose me over your family. Becky replied, looking up to her lover. Freen stood still, looking down on her feet. She couldn't think properly right now. Everything is too much for her to handle. Her parents. And Becky. This is ridiculous, I didn't expect for that to come out of your mouth. Do you even love me all this time? Of course I do. I fucking do, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆. Are you really doubting my feelings for you? Becky stood up, facing the taller girl. Becky can feel her heart clenching in pain with what Freen just said. The taller girl on the other hand, nodding her head emotionless. I am, because you gave up easily. You gave up without even starting it. It seems like I am the only one trying so hard to fight for our relationship while you are letting it go, Becky. You choosing me over your family is the last thing I want to do. I know how it feels being in your shoes. Tell me, Freen, how can I have the heart to take you away from your own family? What kind of person am I for doing that? Becky asked as she slightly choked on her words. Freen, keep quiet, her stare is different. Becky can feel her eyes started to let out a tears as she quickly wiped it away. The taller girl looked down for a second before looking at her lover. Again. The surrounding become quite all of a sudden, Freen giving the one last look before slowly stepping back as she turned her back, walking away from the hopeless smaller girl. Becky watched as Freen slowly disappeared from her sight, her knees become weak as she burst out into tears. Slowly sitting on the bench cupping her face, the pain is unbearable. It feels like every part of her crashing into a piece. Hopeless. That's the words to describe what both of them are feeling right now, and it hurts so bad. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆𝖘, this is too much. I told you to just let her be, you are making it worse right now. Fawn yelled, pointing her finger towards the guy. I am too much? Your daughter is the one who are too much. She hid her relationship from us and dated a freaking girl. So what if she did? There's nothing wrong in loving the same gender, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆𝖘. Please open up your mind for a bit, Fawn said. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆𝖘 scoffed and turned his back, massaging his temple as he can feel his body and breathing become heavier. It is wrong to me. Where am I gonna put my face if people knew my daughter is a lesbian? Don't you feel ashamed too? I need to give her the choices for her to think again what's wrong or what's right. Why are you like this? Does your pride are more important than your own daughter's happiness? You have seen it yourself how happy Freen is whenever she's with Becky. And you shouldn't have stalked her at the first place, it's clearly wrong. Can she protect Freen? Are you really confident that their relationship will last long? No, it won't. It's just a stupid teenager love, and once they start studying in college, they will eventually forget each other, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆𝖘, making Fawn let out a deep sigh. That's still not enough reason for you to do this, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆𝖘. Stop, Fawn. Freen is my daughter, I know what's the best for her. Stop whatever bullshit thought you have right now. If Freen really wanted to fix our family again, she knew what to do. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆𝖘 muttered before stomping off the room, slamming the door a little too hard. Fawn broke down into tears as she sat on the bed. The older woman was devastated. Everything happened in just a split of second. The door slowly opened as she quickly looked up just to see the sight of Freen looking at her. Fawn broke down even more when her daughter started running towards her, throwing herself into her mother's arm. I'm sorry, my baby, I'm so sorry. Fawn apologized. Freen tightened the hug, hiding her face on the older woman's shoulder. Her breath hitched, breaking down in tears. I really wanted our family to be like before, but not this way, Mom. I love Becky so much, I'm in love with her, Mom. Why does Dad being so unfair to me? Is it wrong? Loving Becky is wrong? Freen asked, choking on her words as she looked at her mother. No, it's not, baby, it's not. None of this are your fault, it just sometimes we can't have everything that we wanted. I'm so sorry you need to get through this. The younger girl keeping quiet, she didn't know what to say or what to do anymore. It feels suffocating to her. Freen is in pain and it's slowly killing her inside. Leaving Becky is the last thing she wanna do. But it seems like this is the only way she have. Mom. Yes, honey? If I needed to choose our family, just for us to go back like before again. Am I not be able to be with Becky again? Freen mumbled, the grip around her mother tightened. Fawn cupped her daughter's face, looking at Freen's teary eyes as it feels like another unsaid word stuck inside of her. I'm so sorry, honey. Fawn apologized again, pulling the girl as close as she can. I know it's so unfair to you, I know, baby. I'm so sorry about your father. I don't know how did he suddenly change like that. Freen closed her eyes, letting out a deep sigh before looking straight into her mother. Her eyes getting teary and all she could do is breaking down in her arms. The car door opened, Becky slowly getting inside the car as silence surrounding them. It's the first time in a while since their last encounter a week ago. Freen looked down on her hand. It feels different now for both of the lover, especially after what happened that night. Freen cleared her throat before finally decided to break the silence. Did you had dinner already? I did, Becky answered shortly. Then it becomes quiet again. None of them have the courage to speak up about their upcoming conversation after a long time giving each other some space. You know what we should do, right? Freen muttered, finally turning her head meeting a side of Becky looking down on her hand. I know. Becky replied as their eyes finally met each other. Becky slightly letting out a weak smile, showing that she is currently fine even though deep inside, her heart slowly breaking pieces by pieces. Freen bite her lower lips and look away, the words stuck inside her throat, the words she hates so much. I'm sorry, Freen apologized, mumbling softly. I'm sorry too, things happened for a reason, right? The taller girl trying her best not to break down in any second as she gathered all her courage to look at Becky's brown eyes. Becky smiled again, despite with the teary eyes. Let's break up. Freen finally said it for the first time, her hands shaken with the effect when Becky still having her usual sweet smile. Okay, let's do it, it's for the better, Becky replied. Their eyes stuck with each other, it doesn't feels real anymore. It feels like a dream that they wanted to wake up right away. A very painful dream, but the thing is, it is real. Thank you for everything, even though it's only happened for a short time. I'm glad to have you in my life, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆'𝖘. Freen nodded her head softly, letting out a small smile and wiping the tears who suddenly falling from her right eyes. Thank you so much, Rebecca. It's nice having you as a part of my life and congratulations in advance. I heard from your mother that you got accepted into law school. Freen said smiling, still haven't break the eye contact. Yeah, I did. I hope you will get into medical school that you have been wanting. I will congratulate you in advance, Becky replied. Becky brought her hand, wiping the remaining tears on the taller girl's cheek as Freen on the other hand closed her eyes feeling the warmth touched on her left cheek. Don't take sleeping pills if you can't sleep, don't overwork yourself with studies, Becky said. Freen slowly nodded her head with a small smile. Don't get hurt, don't get sick. I won't be able to be your personal doctor anymore, Freen said letting out a small laugh. The smaller girl nodded her head and quickly wiped her tears, smiling again. A very painful smile as she pulled her hand away. It feels like they got lost into each other's eyes again, heart pounding out of their chest with an unbearable pain of breaking away from each other. Becky finally looked away. I will get going first, it's already late for you to go home. Becky whispered softly. Freen nodded her head and opened the car's door, Becky slightly confused watching the taller girl walking out of the car, going to the passenger side before opening the door for her. Thank you, Freen. Becky muttered and slowly getting off as Freen closing the door shut. They are now standing face to face from each other, both didn't have any plan of leaving away. They wanted to take their times, their last time as a lover, before going to their own road. Freen looked down as she couldn't help it anymore, breaking down in tears, sobbing silently in front of Becky as her breath hitched before feeling a pair of arms wrapping tightly around her. In this world, not everything will go like how we want to. Sometimes we need to sacrifice the things we love the most to make everything work. Becky mumbled softly, tears started falling onto her cheeks. Freen wrapped her arms tightly around the smaller girl, leaning her head on Becky's shoulder, pulling the girl closer as she can. It hurts so bad. I know, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆'𝖘, I know. It hurts me too. Becky muttered slightly choking on her words. They hugged each other as tight as they can, None of them wanted to pull away as all they could do is crying on each other embraces for the last time. Becky tightened the grip and closed her eyes, letting out all the warmth tears before Freen slowly pulling away, cupping her cheeks. Don't cry, I can't see you crying like this. Freen muttered, softly wiping her tears away. The smaller girl broke down even more, holding Freen's left hand placing on her cheek before rubbing it softly. I wish you the best in your life, Becky, until we cross path again in the future. You will always be my first love. Freen, I love you so much. I love you more than you ever know, Becky. Freen muttered before softly kissing the smaller girl's forehead. They slowly pulled away, Freen taking a step back before wiping her tears while Becky did the same. The smaller girl broke down even more, holding Freen's left hand placing on her cheek before rubbing it softly. I wish you the best in your life, Becky, until we cross path again in the future. You will always be my first love. Freen, I love you so much. I love you more than you ever know, Becky. Freen muttered before softly kissing the smaller girl's forehead. They slowly pulled away, Freen taking a step back before wiping her tears while Becky did the same. The surrounding getting darker, showing it's almost midnight. Their eyes meet each other again, before Becky slowly letting out her sweet smile. I will get inside first. Goodbye, Freen. Alright, goodbye, Becky. Becky turned around as she brought her feet inside the mansion, each steps feel so heavy to her. Stopping halfway, Becky turned her head just to see the sight of Freen still standing still. She slowly waved towards the taller girl with a wide smile on her face while Freen did the same, the gate slowly closing as the sight of Freen slowly disappeared. Just in a few seconds, the gate completely shut. Becky immediately broke down, sobbing in tears as she can feel her knees become weak before slowly falling on the ground. Don't go, Becky mumbled, her heart aching in pain. Freen watched how the sight of Becky completely vanished behind the closed gate, her tears falling even more as she leaned her body on the car, bawling her eyes out. Don't go, Becky. Freen muttered to herself, but everything already came to the end for them. There's no going back anymore for the two lovers as Freen ended up standing still for an hour looking at the window of Becky's room while the smaller girl watching her, but she couldn't do anything. All Becky could do is cry, sitting on the floor leaning her body on the cold wall. They did the best for each other. I will choose our family, I will stop seeing Becky just like how you wanted, Dad, Freen said looking emotionless towards the older guy. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆 take off his glasses, before looking at his daughter sitting tightly on the couch. He letting out a small smile before walking closer towards her. You did the right thing, Freen. But you must teach my heart how to forget about her because it doesn't know how to, Freen added, looking down on her lap. Fawn wiped her tears, she couldn't bear to see her daughter at this state. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆 stood still in front of Freen. He closed his eyes and softly pat the younger girl's head. Let's talk again, he said before walking away from the living room. Freen looked at her mom before Fawn immediately pulling the girl into a tight hug, softly rubbing her one and only daughter's back. The younger girl closed her eyes tightly before leaning her head on her mother's shoulder helplessly. End of the flashback. It's been a month since the hurtful things between Freen and Becky happened. No more texting, no more calls, and no more seeing each other. That night is the last time they saw each other. Freen opened her eyes after only having 2 hours of sleep due to her insomnia. The view of the white ceiling making her head hurts. Another day, Freen muttered. Her hands make her way towards her phone placing beside her pillow before turning it on as her eyes stuck on the screen or more to her unchanged wallpaper of her and Becky together. Freen's eyes soften with how much she missed the smaller girl presence, without her notice. Her eyes getting teary before quickly wiping it away. Stop, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆 Freen mumbled to herself. Suddenly her phone ringing revealing the name of her best friend showing up, Freen sliding her finger accepting the call. Nom, good morning 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆. Freen, what is it this time Nom? Nom, oh I'm just checking if you are still alive, come on you know me. I have been doing this for a month. Freen chuckled on the other side before slowly sitting up. After her best friends found out about the broke up, 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆 didn't stop checking out for Freen, worried about the taller girl's condition. Girl's condition. Freen, well thank you Miss 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆. 𝖗𝖊𝖇, I know I'm the best, and oh by the way, let's hang out today. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆 wanted to watch Barbie. Freen, what? Ha ha ha. Why didn't he ask his boyfriend? 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆, he did, but he still wanted to invite us. Billy didn't want to at the first place, because he wanted to watch Oppenheimer, but his boyfriend forced him to. Freen, so basically they are having double date and invited us? Nice, let me see my schedule first. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆, schedule my ass, all you do is lying down on the bed and staring at your white ceiling. Nope, I won't let you, fetch me in 2 hours. Freen, fine fine. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆, do you know that Becky will go to UK tomorrow? Freen, slightly taken aback, she didn't know it would be so soon. She letting out a deep sigh as her breath became heavier. Freen, I didn't know. 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆, I think you should see her, you might not be able to see her again after this Freen. I know it hard for you but, yeah, this is all I could say. Decision is on your hands. Freen, I will think about it 𝖗𝖊𝖇𝖊𝖈𝖆𝖆. See you. The taller girl ended the call, slumping her body on the king-size bed again, staring at the white ceiling. Without her notice, a tear started to fall down for 100 times. I miss you, Tirak.